Hello and welcome to Bourbon Rocks. Tonight we're going to review Colonel E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof. Okay, so this is another product from Buffalo Trace in the E.H. Taylor line, which is their #1 mash bill or their low rye mash bill. Most of the Taylors are bottled in bond. The only exceptions would be the Barrel Proof, which we have tonight. And there is a barrel proof rye out there, which is a relatively new product, but I haven't seen it other than on the internet. But this is the barrel proof bourbon. And of course, being barrel proof, it cannot be bottled in bond because bottled in bond has to be 100 proof. And this particular bottle comes in at 131.1 proof, but that will vary year to year and or season to season. But anyway, so it's the #1 mash bill, similar to the Stag, for example, and the Eagle Rare, and the Buffalo Trace flagship product. This is believed to be aged about 8 years roughly. It's non-age statement, so it doesn't tell you exactly how many years, but it has to be at least 4 years if it's a non-age stated bourbon. But it's believed to be around 8 years by most sources, although not officially confirmed. So we're going to have E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof. Now we've reviewed the 4-grain already, which is also a very unique product because it uses a unique mash bill, an experimental mash bill. Buffalo Trace doesn't normally use a 4-grain mash bill, but this is mash bill #1, which again is considered the low rye mash bill. So in our Glencairn glass, we take a look at the color, and we've got a nice sort of kind of a burnt sienna, orange, brown, copperish looking color. It's medium body. This almost swirls a few our legs running down the glass, but a little bit thinner than I anticipated. We nose. And again, this is a high proof bourbon, so you're going to get a lot of alcohol in that first nose, so kind of go back at it again. And there's that Buffalo Trace cherry that, you get out of a lot of their products. Some orange peel, little allspice, a little more fruity than spicy, but kind of a nice little blend. It's sweet. Maybe a little butterscotch on the nose. And then let's see what we get on the palate. Ooh, that is hot. This is really hot. 131, but boy, it drinks every bit of that proof. Reminds me a bit of the Stag, George T. Stag from the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. This is a powerful bourbon. Ooh, there's a lot of heat in that. So that first taste, you're not getting very much other than that hot alcohol, but you go back again the second time. Let's see if we can get a little different flavors out. But boy, you really get hit with that blast of spicy pepper. All right, let's see what we get on the second one. Still hot, but after your mouth gets a little bit used to that fire, you get that. It's just that butterscotch. It's definitely butterscotch flavor, and there's still a little bit of that cherry. Not as much as there was on the nose. It's not as sweet as the nose. A little bit of the vanilla is coming through now. Some like caramel, toffee-ish, if you will. It's a little bit spicier than you got initially on the nose. Not as much fruit as we had on the nose, but boy, it's still hot. I mean, and it's you get some of that sort of, it's a little more creamy, and more that butterscotch caramel notes and so forth. Not as much vanilla as it is the caramel and that butterscotch. Definitely butterscotch. I think that's the predominant flavor Here, let's give us a third taste, because this thing is hot. You really need to get a couple of sips of this stuff to really appreciate it. Yeah, it's definitely peppery, very peppery, almost like a fire, but little cinnamon, not a whole lot, but maybe kind of like a little bit of a fireball type flavor. Not the whiskey, but there's actual little red hot candies and so forth. Wow, this is good. I mean, it starts out on the nose with that sweetness. You know, you get that little bit of that cherry and the orange peel. The butterscotch starts to come through, especially in that palate. You know, after that first sip just hits you with that super hot peppery spice, and and then it moves into that a little bit more sweeter, a little that butterscotch, that sort of caramelness from the barrel. I mean, it's high proof, so it's going to pull a lot of those barrel flavors, but it's not as sweet in the palate. And then the finish is long. I mean, I still feel this again, that kind of hot, peppery. There's a little faint sweetness, but the sweetness starts to fade, and that spice just lingers. That pepper, yeah, it's like that. It's like, imagine the flavor uniqueness of a butterscotch and pepper. It's an odd combination. I'm trying to think of a food that would really compare to that, but it's that neat kind of contrast between the butterscotch and the pepper. But it is a hot drink. I'm telling you, this is the thing that you would drink if you were outside in the wintertime by a campfire and it was snow on the ground and you wanted to warm up. This thing's going to warm you up. I mean, it's definitely a hot drink. This may be the hottest thing that we've reviewed so far. The Weller came, I believe, in at 134, maybe 134.5. But I thought the Weller did not drink as hot. I think when we did the George T. Stagg, but this is the William LaRue Weller, of course, from the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, and then we did the George T. Stagg as well, which was 100, and I forgot exactly. You can go back and check the other reviews, but there was at least 130 proof, and this one's 131.1. So this is up there with the highest proof alcohols that we've reviewed so far. But this thing definitely drinks hot. It drinks hotter than the Stagg does, and I thought the Stagg was hot. The Weller William LaRue Weller actually drank a little bit cooler, I believe, than its proof point. But the George T. Stagg was right on proof point. This thing's, I mean, I guess it's right on proof point, but boy, it's hot. But listen, don't take that as a bad thing. I love high proof bourbons. You do get a lot of flavor, a lot of complexities, that interesting combination of caramel and pepper together. Not caramel. Well, there's caramel, yes. Okay, but butterscotch, more butterscotch and pepper at the same time. Interesting combination. So you are getting a lot of complexities out of it. But you gotta be ready for this, and be careful if you're going to sit down and drink several of these, because this is going to creep up on you, being as high proof it is. But it's good. I'm going to give it a king. It keeps it maybe from being an ace. It might just be a little bit too hot. I think it could be a little more drinkable, like the George T. Stagg and the William LaRue Weller. Even though they were higher proof, they were a little bit more drinkable than this. But listen, if you want to warm up, you're cold and you're sitting out by a fire and you want something that's going to warm you up, I'm telling you, this stuff's going to do it. It's very complex. Remember that butterscotch and that pepper together, but it's a hot one. So anyway, to Colonel E.H. Taylor, barrel proof. Again, I think most of the Taylors come from Warehouse C. Y'all can check me on that one. I'm not sure, but I believe that's the case. But this is your barrel proof version, so it's not bottled and bond. It's good. All right, check out the rest of our reviews on bourbonrocks.com, and thank you very much.